on the ideas and things he told them.
Yeah.
He didn't push them
Yeah.
Yeah.
to make a decision.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just, this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then he walks away.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. He wasn't there trying to. I'm not going to sit here and trying to convince you
No.
convince you about this lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm not going to twist your arm in this thing.
Yeah.
Just let him think
Yeah.
about it. You know.
Yeah.
And what conversation did he have with, what was Andrew and John?
John.
Or who?
I thought was it not
Yeah.
Andrew John?
Andrew and John. I mean, that conversation, they dropped what they were doing.
Yeah.
What conversation was that?
Yeah. Right.
Man, I wish that was written down.
Yeah.
What did he say?
What? Yeah.
It had
Yeah.
to be revolutionary for them to, okay, I'm
Yeah.
follow
Right.
you.
Yeah. I'm down. I'm good. We're good.
Yeah.
Let's just drop everything and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? If you guys that are listening, if you get an opportunity, listen to Charles, his sermon, because he talks about all the conversations that Christ had. And Adam's already kind of brought, some statistics about that up, but I mean, just thinking about Jesus sitting with the disciples. We've watched The Chosen whenever he sends them out.
I was about to say
He
that.
sends
Yeah.
them out in pairs.
Yeah.
And when they're sitting in camp and some of the conversations that these guys had where, like, I can imagine Christ joking around. I mean, just like a group of buddies,
Yeah.
You're joking around, having a good time, and then suddenly there's this teachable moment, or one of them asks them
Yeah.
a question. And those are things that get written down in the Gospels
Yeah.
that, in our minds, we think like, oh, this was like this climatic
yeah.
moment
Yeah.
where Jesus was up on like a stump,
Yeah, yeah.
preaching to.
Yeah.
But no, man, he was just sitting around campfire having conversations with people, and he has like a conversation in, I think it's Matthew. Yeah, because I talked about this, I think on Wednesday, Matthew 16, whenever he's hanging out with everybody, and he's like, who do people say that I am?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And they begin to say, some say you're John the Baptist, others say you're Ezekiel, and some say you're Jeremiah or one of the other prophets, and Jesus says, who do you say that I am? And Peter gives true identity to who Jesus is, you're the Christ, the Son of the living God. And then Jesus directly, gives identity to Peter and says, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood haven't revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And he says, your name is Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, So here's Peter recognizing Christ's identity, and then Christ looks at Peter and gives him identity. And this all happens in a conversation, not during a sermon,
Right,
not on the Sermon on
right.
the Mount,
Right.
not in the feeding of the 5,000, not in the feeding of the 4,000, because he'd done that prior to that, you know. But he just does that in an intimate conversation with these guys. And it gets written down, we get to read about it. Like what type of conversations can we have, sitting around with just our friends and our family
Yeah.
that could birth something, some new life or some new revelation or who they truly are, just by having a talk,
Right.
Not trying to preach at anybody.
That's right. That's right.
Just having a conversation,
Yeah.
Well, that's what the world thinks of Christians.
Yeah.
You're in a church, you're being preached to, yelled to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That's why the Jews couldn't accept Jesus, most of them, the Pharisees. They were expecting this guy coming down in power, and I'm going to take control, and I'm
Sure.
going to do this. And he shows up and has conversations.
Yeah.
They're like,
And he
this
listens.
is not you.
Yeah.
This is not what
Yeah.
we're expecting.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Where's the trumpets? Where's the beating on
Yeah.
the chest?
Yeah.
So if we can get that world mindset of, listen, we're just people like you. Let's just talk.
That's it.
I'm not going to yell at you. I'm going to
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
talk to you.
How about those preachers that when you go into their sermons and they're yelling, and they're like, preacher, and you say, preacher, why are you yelling? Because I love you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, golly. I mean, is this how much you love your wife? Are you yelling at her at the house?
I love you this much. Just wake up in the morning. I love you. Okay.
You wonder where that got started,
Right.
Yeah.
Where did all
I
this
have.
get started?
I really
Seriously.
have.
Where did
Yeah.
it come from?
Like, because
You know.
there's a lot of young men that think,
Oh,
if I'm not doing it this way,
Yeah, right.
I'm doing it wrong.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
So for sure, yeah, there was somebody down the line
That's right.
that maybe did it right, maybe got super excited and they were yelling all the time, and somebody else was like, man, I got to do it the way that guy did it.
Yeah.
And then somebody's like, I got to do it. Next thing you know, if you're not yelling and
Yeah.
hacking,
You can't
and
get the point.
can barely breathe,
Yeah.
then you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have conversations, heated conversations with a guy at work about what's the difference in teaching and preaching. You know,
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey man, I'm teaching at the church, on such and such day. He's like, are you teaching or are you preaching? I'm like, well, I mean, what do you mean? Well, I mean, are you going to get up in front of the whole church? Well, yeah. Well, that's preaching. I was like, how's that preaching?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, whenever I get up in front of the church, I don't deliver it any other way than what I do whenever I'm in our classroom.
In your classroom,
with,
yeah.
with 10 people.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
You know?
right. So, well, yeah.
I'm like, I'm not delivering anything any different when I have a conversation sometimes with these guys.
Yeah,
I get excited at work, just
Yeah.
one-on-ones.
Right.
So
does it just change because of the
Right.
setting you're in?
So that's what
The
I'm
building
Well,
changes
the difference is, for me, I say, well, God hasn't said you're a preacher.
Yeah. Right.
So
right.
I'm like,
right.
okay, I'm just teaching.
Yeah, yeah. And there's
But-
gifts. That's part of, there's
Yeah.
gifts, teachers, preachers,
Yeah.
evangelists,
saying. Fivefold ministry.
There's,
right?
yeah.
So why can I not just be who I am and not try to put a label and say,
Yeah.
Right.
That's
'cause
right.
I feel like it's almost like I'm a preacher. What,
Well, where's God
Is that
getting the
what you're-
glory in that,
Right.
Because if I start with I'm a preacher, I'm a teacher, whatever, well, that started with I.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if I'm starting with the conversation with I'm a preacher, I'm a teacher, I'm a whatever, I think you're starting out wrong already. Because let me tell you, I think we're not in this thing for us.
Yeah.
We're not in it for a title. We're in it for we're in it for one thing only. That's to glorify Him. Jesus, and lift Him up. Yeah, there's going to be effects. People might hear some stuff that we talk about, but we're doing it for Him.
Yeah.
This conversation is for Him. For Jesus, it's nothing else.
Yeah. Because, like, even in the Bible, it talks about fivefold ministry, but it doesn't, like, Paul's never referred to as the preacher.
Yeah.
Now, like,
Yeah.
people, there's scripture that talks about him preaching.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
if we're just being ourselves and maybe you get excited talking about the Lord, then just be excited because you're excited talking about the Lord. And if somebody wants to call it preaching, they can call it preaching.
Yeah.
Or if somebody wants to call it teaching, they can call it teaching. Or if somebody wants to call it evangelism,
Yeah.
they can call it evangelism. But I'm more about, like, let's leave titles and position
Yeah.
out of this thing and just be us. Because, like, this whole conversation started, like, you got young men that are feeling like it has to look a certain
Yeah,
way
there you go.
or be a certain way for me to be doing it right. I mean, I know a young man in particular that was in one denomination of church and was going and having, like, these, like, classes with other preachers, and they were teaching these young men how to be preachers and telling them, like, how, all these things that they needed to do if they was wanting to do it right, and part of it was, I think part of it was like yelling and don't joke around about this because this isn't something to joke around. You need to be serious the whole time, and if that's not who you are, you can't put on Saul's armor if you're David, you got to be David, and you got to battle Goliath as David, not Saul, like if you feel like yelling and being serious is the way that fits Adam,
Right.
but that ain't the way that fits
Right.
Parker. I can't do it the way Adam
Yeah,
does it, man.
yeah.
I got to do it the way that I do.
And I can't expect you to do it the way I do it.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So that's what, we can't put like these, this is what this is and this isn't, There's certain things, like, I know that, like, being an apostle is you're more or less, there's some guys today that call themselves apostles. I'm not going to get in that conversation.
Yeah. We might do a podcast on that.
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. That might get us some negative comments.
Hey, you know what they say? Good, any publicity is
Right.
good publicity, right?
But if we truly look at it, a modern day apostle. That would be a missionary.
Yeah.
Because an apostle laid the foundation for the church,
Yeah.
you know? So if I'm going over into a
Yeah.
native country, Jackie Russell is who I would consider more kind of an apostle role, because he's going into a tribe that doesn't know anything about the gospel of Jesus Christ, and he is laying the foundation from the ground up, you know, and letting them know what Christianity is about, you know?
And how's he doing that?
Conversation.
Yeah.
Starts with conversation.
She's leading me into it. I missed it.
I know you did.
Meeting where they were.
Conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
Starts
Exactly.
with conversation.
Yeah.
Right where they are,
Yeah.
meeting their needs.
Coming to
Yeah.
them.
I mean, how many times has Jimmy said you can't, speak to a hungry man until you feed him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Going to them. And, when you go to somebody's, maybe going to somebody's home, and, I had an we went to my buddy's house not too long ago, watched some UFC fights. We went to his house at his home, hung out at his place, his comfort zone. And, we were there till from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m., watching fights. And, when you watch UFC fights, there's always 15, 20 minutes in between each fight. So, I mean, instead of sitting there on our phones all evening, we talked. We had great conversations. His wife's pregnant right now. There was a lot going on. But yeah, but good conversations that maybe the next conversation I have with him, questions will come about. And that's what I pray. I pray, Lord, use me in a way that eventually he'll ask questions. And when I did that message there a while back, when Moses was teaching the Israelites, about to go into Canaan, and he was telling them, eventually your kids are going to ask questions, but first you got to do this, this, and this, and then lastly, teach is an opportunity is going to arise, and then you take advantage of that opportunity. But it starts with conversation, and listening, coming to a place maybe they're comfortable in, or wherever they're at, coming to them and just talking, catching up on things and getting comfortable, and then in time, I think, because if I try to force it, well, that's me. First of all, I'm going to try to do something, and I may push away.
Yeah.
Compared to bring him to, when all I want to do is bring him. I don't care where he goes to church. That doesn't bother. But I want him to know Jesus.
Yeah. Let's have let's have a genuine relationship with each other.
Yeah.
That's where the Spirit leads.
Yeah.
Then.
That's
because
right.
that's what I think Jesus did too. He laid this out.
Yeah.
And then he let the Spirit lead.
Yeah.
And then that's when the people would come. He laid it out,
Right.
waited,
Yeah.
the Spirit led.
Yeah.
And they come. So you just go where the Spirit leads and let the Spirit do it.
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Lead you to it.
Yeah, because we'll try to put our hands on it and mess it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, sometimes we're afraid to step
That's
out.
true.
Yeah.
Mostly, I think, with family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is it hard
That's
to
the
speak to
toughest.
family?
That's
Yeah.
the toughest.
I don't know, because they
Yeah.
know us.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. You just don't want to rock the boat with family.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But
Yeah. Rock the boat with friends, and you don't have to see them, at the family reunion.
That's
and
right.
Christmas and
yeah.
but
But really, if we think about it, if these people aren't going to heaven, we,
yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
we've
And
got to
that-
put
that's-
ourselves out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're reading a book in our little study. Are you reading it too?
I just started.
Yeah. And we just got through Why I Believe in Hell, the chapter.
Oh,
And that was a tough Tuesday morning,
I'd
to
say.
be honest. It wasn't, it's not something we talk about a lot, and I don't like thinking about it because I don't want it to entertain me, but it put some stuff into perspective to myself. I'm thinking it's just as real as heaven. And
Exactly.
in that book, you're going to read, if you haven't read that chapter yet, there's a guy that gives, he died, and I think he had a heart attack or something, came back, and he gives his firsthand experience. And the dude was an atheist. And then, he gives a very detailed description of what he saw while he died. And it made me when I was reading it, made me feel like, and I thought to myself, I don't want anybody, especially people I love, that are on my mind right now. I don't want them to even get a taste of this.
Right.
But
You know.
at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to come off and be like, you're going to heaven or you're going to hell. Make a decision right now. You know, I don't want to. I don't want to be that. You know, I don't come at them like that because I don't want to push them away. Because a lot of people have been pushed away.
Absolutely.
They've been the quote unquote church hurt and has had a long effect on them because someone has came up to them and tried to force something down their throat like that.
And the main question people ask is, you're saying God is so loving. Why would he send someone to hell?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I heard someone say, listen, he's trying to save you
Yeah.
from hell.
Yeah.
You're already going there.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
trying to save you from it.
Yeah.
That's why he's loving.
That's good.
You know, so you present it to him like,
Yeah,
no,
right. He's
trying
not
to
sending
save
you there. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
he's
yeah.
saving you from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good book. That book it's made me think a lot for sure.
Yeah.
And the Tuesday morning, I mean, I love it's conversations. We have, you know, I love. We was talking this morning. I was telling Jimmy, I said, I love these Tuesday mornings. I said, you know, sometimes they're, you know, it's rough because it's 6:30 in the morning and it's before work, this and that. But I mean, sometimes I get more out of just us shooting the bull and talking than I do, you know, sitting at church trying to take notes.
You know, and that's, you know, someone who is seasoned,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Jimmy. He's an older,
yeah, yeah,
mentoring, and just, and he'll tell you that's the best thing he's done for years
Yeah.
for himself.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know.
He's made that comment a few times.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because you know it reinvigorates him
Yeah.
to hear, you know, your all's
Yep.
conversations and your ideas, you know, and that's exactly what Charles Simpson was talking about. We need more of that.
Yeah, I agree.
You know.
I agree. But that's what I love. I love our church. I think that we have there's such a broad age, but at the same time, now I'm just as comfortable. I think I could go up to Davey and ask Davey a question. I can go up to you and ask you a question, or you know, we have a wide range of age but there's still a family feel. And I think you know, Jimmy's done a good job of kind of cultivating that, but you know, when we remove the church or the four walls and make this thing personal and make it more about honestly him, I think the more we lift up him, the more we glorify him.
Absolutely.
Then the more family feel, the more dinner table conversations we're going to have, and the more meetings outside of church we're going to do, and the closer our relationship will get. And but
then you feel part of the family.
yeah.
You know, you're part of the family. I think that's what Jesus did. He made you feel comfortable. You know, not I'm preaching at you or whatever. Come on, come
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
So what I liked about talking about things that we're doing outside of the church, I liked when we did the Mother's Day, the whole
Yeah.
Mother's Day thing,
Yeah.
and had people coming from all through town and going out, just waiting on them or whatever, and then being able to sit down at a table and just hang out and talk and things like that. And, any type of evangelism like that where you're cultivating,
Yeah.
you know, conversation and
Yeah.
relationship and,
Yeah.
and family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a lot of people come
Yeah.
outside of, you know, our church body. We're like, man, that was really nice that you
Yeah.
guys did that.
Yeah.
You know?
And Polly made it so nice.
Yeah.
When they sat down at this so nice.
Yeah.
And then, oh, you mean I can take that home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just, you know, tablecloth, here, eat food.
Yeah.
Go home.
Oh, I loved
you know?
It was personal.
I loved it.
It's personal.
Exactly. It made them feel loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, from
Yeah.
people you didn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Took little baskets, you know, the little gift
Uh-huh.
bags and stuff to
Yeah.
them. I mean,
Yeah, and
that
you guys served
phenomenal.
it. Man,
It was
it
phenomenal.
really meant something to them. It really did.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was, and you know, there wasn't a church thing. It wasn't. We weren't promoting Bancroft, and we had other churches
Right.
with us as well. There
Right.
was no promotion
That's
of a building of a you
Yeah.
know, an organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just one thing only: to serve,
Yeah.
to show love. And I keep thinking about what you were talking about, how Jesus went to the woman. You know, that's
He
what.
went out of his way.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, because I've read something.
And the disciples
showed
were like,
up-
why are we going here?
Yeah, they
Must
they
That's
needs.
Samaria.
yeah.
I have to go there.
Yeah.
I have to go there.
Yeah.
Swindoll said some one time in one of his messages where, like, if you had a map and where the well was that Jesus went to, typically the normal route to the destination, that's out of the way. It wasn't even in the if they were going, I forgot where they were going to, but anyways, their normal route is a whole different direction.
Right.
But he knew, Jesus knew, but he went out of his
Somebody had to
way.
meet.
Yeah,
Somebody had to have a conversation.
There was a
Yeah.
conversation that needed to happen.
And then what did she do? She went and proclaimed and
Yeah.
had conversations
Yeah.
with everybody else.
Yeah,
And it completely changed her life.
Yeah.
She was an
Yeah.
outcast.
Yeah.
Changed her life. And she's like, I got to tell you about this man.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah.
Look what he did for me.
Right.
I could not imagine.
What a testimony.
What? Yeah.
Can turn anybody's life around.
Mhm.
Anybody. No matter what you're going through, you can turn it around
Mm-hmm.
completely.
Yeah.
Productive life.
And I heard somebody, I was scrolling through Instagram and saw a reel, and the pastor was saying, sometimes we expect God to come in this powerful, we want to hear something, we want to be able to, okay, God, do something that I can see, you, or do something where I can hear you. And we're looking for this powerful experience or a divine encounter.
Right.
When I think, a lot of times, Jesus doesn't operate like that. Obviously, he didn't come with, guns ablazing and he came quietly. Elijah, when he experienced God on the mountain, he was looking for a wind, the storm. God, he wasn't in the storm. He wasn't in the wind. He wasn't in the fire. But when that whisper came through,
Yes.
that was where God was at.
Yes.
And I thought, that's where I think sometimes we're expecting this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I talked about that in the Sunday school class. We were talking to the kids, middle school kids, and we were talking about a still small voice.
Mm-hmm.
I said, do you guys pay more attention to your parents? They're just yelling, do this, or teachers.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Teachers, whatever. I said, but then they lower their voice and talk. Easton's like, yeah. He said, whenever they lower their voice, man, I listen. But when they're loud, I just look the other way. Whatever it was he said. Because it's just like you hear that all the time. You're yelled at all the time at school
Yeah.
and kids. But when you stop and you look somebody in the eyes, then they listen. I remember at Bible school, I taught the kids, and I took every one of them, and I said, Jesus loves you.
Yeah.
Every one of them. And all the other ones were, so quiet.
Yeah.
And I went to every one of them, and they're just, when you have that face-to-face conversation, even individual, man, they listen.
Yeah.
Instead of this
Yeah.
constant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want Easton's attention, Easton, don't listen to it. Just whisper. Just
like,
whisper.
Easton, why am I yelling? Because I love you.
But we have good conversations. In middle school, I just let them talk.
Yeah.
And it's good to hear. Just let them talk, and
Right.
that's good.
I mean, that's what a lot of my coaches, I remember growing up, would scream and yell, but I don't think, I shut them off.
Yeah.
When you start yelling at me and screaming at me and, I just, I'm like, all right, where are we going with this thing? Like, get it out, and then come talk to me. I had a guy, one time, it was in high school, Coach Osborne chewed me up and down the court. And then I sit down, and I'm like, what did I do? Of course, and you never figure out what you did wrong. You're like, what did I do wrong?
Right.
And like 20 minutes later, during the game, Coach Sowers comes up to me, sits down right beside me. He goes, you know what Osborne's problem is? I was like, no, Coach, what? He goes, it's because you're wearing white shoes and everybody else is wearing red. I was like, what? He was like, yep. He said, when he saw those white shoes during warm-ups, he said that made him mad, and ever since then, he's been on you. I said, all right, I mean, okay, I get it. That's cool.
funny.
You could have told me that during warm-ups, and I wouldn't change. But, but Sowers came up and was like, put his arm around me. He's like, you know what his problem is, right? And I'm like, what? I'm having a horrible game. I'm not shooting good, and he's like, it's the white shoes, and it was. I never wore those again.
It's funny what sets us off.
True story, but yeah. I mean, that's, if he wouldn't have came up to me and told me,
You wore white shoes the next game.
yeah, I would have kept going. I was like, and then he's mad at me again, yell at me again. I didn't hear anything. I'm just hearing him yell at me. But
You're in the locker room. What color you guys wearing today?
yeah. Then I threw those. I put those shoes in the bottom of the locker. I
That's
never touched
funny.
those again. Yeah,
Just your street ball shoes.
yeah, they were. Because at the time we were big into team shoes.
Yeah. They don't
And
do that anymore.
No, they don't do that. See,
Yeah.
I was a trendsetter. I was a pioneer, and I didn't wear team
You
shoes.
were a rebel.
Yeah, I was a rebel. Obviously, it worked out because I didn't play that. Yeah, I didn't play that much that game because he was mad at me.
My team shoes were ponies. Do you remember ponies?
Yeah,
A pony brand? You remember?
Is it like
yeah.
It just
Chucks?
goes like that.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like a V.
Huh.
Just pony brand. That was way back.
Way back.
Way back. Where your shorts were short.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I
yeah.
can remember like Kevin Landers. I think his senior year, they decided to do like the actual cloth Chucks,
Yeah.
Holy cow.
and all of them had like blisters.
Oh, I
Yeah.
bet.
I mean, it was. I think it was like super bad.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
no support there.
Yeah. They thought, oh yeah, we're going to be like
Yeah.
old school,
Yeah.
and
Sean did that one year in middle school or something. He got Chucks.
Yeah.
He slid all over the place. I turned him over. Well, there's cloth on the bottom.
yeah.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
would you put cloth on the bottom? Had to go get him another pair.
Yeah.
I wonder how many pairs of tennis shoes he's had in his lifetime.
Tell you, I don't know.
I felt it, yeah. But what do y'all got? Anything else? Any more notes?
I think that's all I
What
had.
you got, Sherry?
I think that's it. Yep. Just have more conversations with people
Yeah.
not your age too.
Yeah. I agree
to
with
let them-
that.
And that's what, as far as my job, I get to talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, old and young, and I love when people come back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every 6 months,
Yeah.
and I get to catch up with them. in
Yeah,
their
yeah,
lives, and
yeah.
you kind of become friends, and you talk to them a little bit about the Lord, and
Yeah.
mostly, you know, where you go to church.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
things like that. And so.
And I think we've become, phones, and I'm
Yeah.
guilty of this too. Like the
Yeah.
other day, I went in the gas station and was just getting a snack, and I didn't have my phone with me, which normally I do take my phone in. And I'd been guilty. I'm waiting in line. I would have typically have got on my phone because I'm not going to sit there and wait and stare. But I didn't that day because I didn't have my phone. And the woman, the cashier's talking to the person in front of me and just kind of talking about her life, this and that. And then when I get up to her, I kind of like, hey, I'm kind of already in the conversation a little bit because I was hearing it because I didn't have my phone in front of my face. And then when I got up to, get what I was buying, now I'm in this thing. All right.
Yeah.
And this woman was just telling me how, she's single mom, she got 2 kids. She's like, I forgot what her boy's name was, but she said he was late 3 days this week, but she's like, I'm trying to get back on the normal schedule. She said, we're going from no school all summer. Now we're having school. I got to get him to school and get to work. But that conversation, and I sat there, I didn't say a whole lot, but I just listened. I was like, I was like, that's tough. It's not easy. That's not easy. And just listen to her.
Mm-hmm.
And after I got out and I went back to the truck, I'm like, thanks, man. Thank you, Lord. Like, I didn't take my phone in. I'm glad I didn't take my phone in. I was like, I didn't feel the Spirit tell me to, make anything about it. The Spirit wasn't saying, let's sit here and let's preach, pray over or preach to her. I was just there. And maybe that's what she needed. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have missed that
With your phone?
with my
Yeah,
phone.
I agree.
I would have, because I was here, I was working and we went and took a break. I went to get a snack and go back to work kind of deal. I wasn't there to have a conversation, but I would have missed that. I know I would have missed it because I know me.
Yeah.
And I'm quick to just pull up my phone real quick if I'm bored, waiting in line for something.
I do the same
Check
thing.
something, but
I was in the doctor's office the other day, and I go in, and I'm on my phone, and there's an older gentleman, and he was tapping his cane. He just started talking. I'm like,
Yeah.
Sherry, put your phone down and talk to this guy. We talked I learned all about him. He had goats. Everything in his life I knew. And then he went in and came back out. I was still sitting there. We talked some more. It was just a good conversation. And we
Yeah.
talked about the Lord. I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
he talked about, I'm coming at the end of my age. Well, as long as you know where you're going to go, I know where I'm going. And then we started talking about the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other people in the waiting room. So,
Yeah.
put the phone down.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
advice to everybody. Put your phone
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
'Cause the phone's not that important.
No, it's not. It's really
Yeah,
not.
have a real conversation.
Mm-hmm. I'm foo.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
All right. That's it. Guest
Thanks
number
for having me.
1 for the season 2. Yeah, we appreciate you coming. And
Two for season 2.
yeah. So we're this is the conversation podcast for today, and then we'll get it out there and post it. And as always, if anybody's got any questions or comments, hit it in the comment section, or there's an email that you can email us as well if you want us to talk about something or have a topic or whatever, or just want some prayer. Just hit the comments. We read the comments, like and share. That's usually you're good
Like
at that.
and subscribe.
And subscribe. All right, yeah.
Yes,
Like and
YouTube,
subscribe.
Yeah. So if you're watching on
Hit that
YouTube,
like button and subscribe.
I wish I could make that a meme.
I
Boy,
wish
yeah.
I knew where, like a lot of people are really good at it, and they can point where the
Yes.
like
Oh
button is.
yeah,
and they'll
yeah.
go, Hit that like
Yeah,
button
yeah.
and
Yeah.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Easton could tell you.
I was gonna say that's
Yeah.
Easton. That's got Easton written all over it. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, that's all we got. See y'all.
God bless.
Yep.